dig up a past I swore would stay buried.
You will always be a monster.
Ares! I have nothing more to hide.
The ghost of Sparta had been born.
This is a passage from the prose Edda after Frigg makes Baldur invulnerable. Weapons and wood will not hurt Baldur. I have received oaths from them all. Then the woman asked, have all the things sworn oaths not to harm Baldur? Then Frigg replied, there grows a shoot of a tree to the west of Valhall. It is called mistletoe. It seemed young to me to demand the oath from. Straight away the woman disappeared. The lady is thought to be Loki in most conventional interpretations of this text. What if the woman in God of War is not Loki or Faye's son, but Faye herself? We know that God of War fused Frigg and Freya into one character, therefore I don't believe it's a leap to infer that this enigmatic lady is Atreus' mother. If Faye was the one who identified Baldur's vulnerability, she might have also been the one who ordered Sindri's mistletoe arrows. We already know that Brock and Sindri built the Leviathan axe for Faye, and when Kratos and Atreus first encountered Sindri in God of War 2018, Sindri seemed very fond of Atreus' mother.
It's of no consequence.
Hi, excuse me, but, how did you come by that, axe?
That is my concern alone.
And, while I won't dispute that, I know that blade. It was one of ours, but, we didn't make it for you.
Step aside.
I can't. See, the woman we made it for, I am quite fond of her, and I would be somewhat displeased if it turns out that you did something to her.
So it's not a stretch to think that she could have asked mistletoe arrows to be manufactured by the Halda brothers. Why would you make mistletoe arrows in the first place if you ask me? I'm sure Sindri loved Faye so much that if she asked him for mistletoe arrows, he would create them for her. Sindri must have kept them until he realized Faye was dead when she never returned to receive them. After Kratos and Atreus rescue Sindri's life, he rediscovers the arrows once more and offers them to Faye's sole surviving recollection, her son. Faye understood the route her son would take. She practically carved the road for him, and she must have known that the only way to destroy Baldur was to end his invulnerability. However, after Baldur's death, the Edda states that Odin orders that someone journey to Hel and fetch his son. He believes that by reversing Baldur's death, he would be able to avert Ragnarok. So one of Odin's other sons, I might pronounce this wrong, Hermod, decides to travel to Hel, and once there he attempts to convince Hel to return Baldur to the living world. According to the Edda, in the morning, Hermod begged from Hel that Baldur might ride home with him and said what great weeping there was among the Aesir. But Hel said that it must be tested whether Baldur was as beloved as said in the following way. And if all things in the world alive and dead weep for him, then he shall go back to the Aesir. But he kept with Hel if any objects refused to weep. In God of War, as Fimbulwinter has begun, Odin will try to resurrect Baldur by making all the creatures of Midgard grieve for him. This is when Thor comes into play. Many people believe Thor visits Kratos' hut since he and Atreus slaughtered Magni and Modi, but keep in mind that 3 years would have passed before Thor approaches their house. And given that Odin sent Baldur to their house in the game's initial scene, why would Thor wait 3 years to seek revenge? He wouldn't. Fimbulwinter lasts 3 years, thus Thor's arrival coincides with the beginning of Ragnarok, when the Aesir are most anxious for Baldur's return. Thor, I believe, is not coming for vengeance, but rather to seek Kratos and Atreus' assistance in recovering Baldur from Hel, but this would only lead to a fight breaking out between the two gods. In the Norse tale, Hel urges everyone to grieve for Baldur for his release, yet in the time frame of the game, Hel does not yet exist. She is one of Loki's children, and unless we're missing a significant chunk of Atreus' biography, he hasn't yet given birth to Hel, Jormungandr, or Fenrir, but we know from the God of War Ragnarok trailer that we will see Fenrir and Fenrir's children And we already have seen Jormungandr, so why won't we see Hel? I think Odin will try to reason with Kratos and Atreus, but once that fails, he'll send Thor to ask them to weep for the death of Baldur, and when that doesn't happen, Thor will try to kill them to ensure that all things in Midgard do weep for his brother.